Well, good evening and welcome back to Suburban Lanes here in Morgantown, West Virginia. The PBA50 Morgantown Classic Stepladder final time here as we will crown another champion on the PBA50 Tour here in 2024. Craig Elliott along with Tom Carter here on the call. Welcome back, Tom.
I'm happy to be back.
And we're happy you're here, Tom. We got a little different look on the Stepladder. All season long it's been Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. Couch has a win, Hess with a couple wins, Parker with the win. Only one Hall of Famer in here, and it's Jason Couch on number 1 seed.
I think it's an exciting top five because it's players that we haven't seen for a while, and we got a new player in Stepladder. So I'm excited about this format because it's just new players and new faces, and I think the people are going to love it. Starting out with our guy in fifth spot, JJ, John Janawicz.
He's not a new player.
Well, he's kind of new last year, for the Senior Masters. Then we go to John Burkett. We haven't seen him for a while.
Oh, yeah, he actually didn't get to defend his one title he won in Hammond a couple years ago. He was on the injured list a little bit last year. Yeah. Back in another Stepladder for John, looking for win number 2.
And then we go to the brand new guy. It's never made a show. This is his first show. He's in the Indiana State Hall of Fame. But welcome to the show, Mark Sullivan. That's great.
I think a lot of us are surprised because we're thinking, has Mark made a show? Well, yeah, of course he has. Has he? No, yes, no. No was the answer, but we thought so, yeah.
And when I went up to him, I said, "You made one show, right?" And he goes, "No. Yeah. I've never made a show." And then after that, we go into Dan Knowlton. Dan Knowlton's got a PBA title. I think Knowlton is he's not a rookie anymore, but we haven't seen him that much on the show.
Well, but he did take down the guy we thought couldn't be undefeated at all in this tournament, John Janawicz, in that last match. So.
Well, that's true. And I take that back. Dan has made 7 shows, but unfortunately, with this year, they've come in and find it few and far between, and then we end up with 3-time tournament champion winner, Jason Couch.
Yeah, Couch looking for a second win. Won the first event of the season back in Westland, Michigan at Visit Lanes. Only his second title on this tour, which was shocking to a lot of us, thinking he's only won twice. He's been in contention a ton, just never had things go his way. This year they're going his way.
Oh, he told Justin Mollick, he said, "I'm coming to the tournament, I'm coming to win." And he's obviously proved that with being a tournament leader.
You know what? I like it. I like our chances for a nice, great show again. As always, Step Out final about to get underway. Topic and Trash giving final instructions, announcements to this crowd. Fans coming in to watch here in Morgantown.
And, he is our sole lefty.
Yeah, and Jason Couch, and that could be very beneficial for Jason, as we've seen him have a decent look on the fresh. The interesting one to me when we talk about on the fresh show, John Janawicz is. I mean, he's crushed the fresh, except for that last match. He struggled a little bit, but he is absolutely dominated the fresh.
John Janawicz.
If he wins this tournament, though, he's got to run a ladder. It's not going to be fresh the whole time.
Right. John Janawicz told me, he goes, "My whole goal is to make match play because it's on the fresh." And he goes, "I understand the fresh. I know how it's going to break down, and I'm looking forward to it." And obviously, he's done a great job on the fresh, shooting 300 on the fresh.
Yeah, one of the 2 300s, him and Walter Ray Williams Jr. You've heard of him, I think.
I know that guy.
He's been around a little bit. Sure has. Our first poll of the day, who do you think will win this event? The 1 seed, Jason Couch. Can John Janawicz run the ladder? Can Mark Sullivan get his first W? Can Burkett or Knowlton get win number 2? John Janawicz is going to start out, and we're about to find out who's going to win this title here in the next 90 minutes.
The unique style of John Janawicz with that ball hanging down and his timing. It all depends on how much he hesitates on that first step. He changes his timing and ball speed by that step.
So what did he tell? It's the longer hesitation, the slower he throws, correct?
That's what he said.
So watch, when we see him with the short hesitation, the ball speed is going to be amped up maybe just a little bit.
What an incredible player. Been on Team USA 10 years, and he was won our Senior Masters, and you and I talk about that quite a bit on ball choice and what he does, because that was quite the show there when he warmed up and was dead locked in on with a ball, then changes it when it starts, and Rookie of the Year.
Well, let me give you another interesting stat for John Janawicz. We're about to Burkett start out here. JJ gets his first strike. John's been on the sewer for just over a year. If he wins today, you know what that means?
Does that make him Hall of Fame eligible?
Yeah.
But wait a minute, you got to be a member so many years.
Well, he's got to be around 10 more years. 9 more years now after this. But yeah, I mean, it'd be 5 wins with 3 majors.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty shocking. A lot of work to do. He's got a lot of great players to go through, but this short of a career for him to come out and do something, and it might not happen today, but it's going to happen this year. You got to believe. And that's pretty wild. But John Burkett, you know what? He's got something to say about that.
Well, John Burkett, he's just a fun guy. To me, being a professional baseball player in the big leagues for 15 years, and then coming out on the PBA50 tour, and he said his first love is bowling.
Don't let this guy fool you, though. He was bowling a lot while he was traveling with the different major league teams he played for.
Now this is his third show. He's no stranger to being on the show, and he's no stranger to crowds. And for him, I don't think there's anything that bothers him, like Mark Sullivan coming up, because the pressure. I don't think Burkett ever feels any pressure.
No, he's been in front of 50,000 people before, so yeah, there's no pressure there. JJ going with the old black hammer. I think he's got a couple different black hammers, doesn't he, Tom?
He's got two, I believe. And then Couch has got 4. Everybody's got black hammers. But this is a unique pattern. The bat pattern being only 37 feet, 28 feet of applied oil. It's the first time we've ever bowled on this pattern. And we're bowling on a surface, talking to Justin Mollick, because the surface is 27 years old. It's the original Pro-Am lane. The front part of the lane is kind of burnt. He said, so the key to scoring here is trying to get it through the head successfully so that you get a strong enough back in with the ball.
And the majority of the players have been able to stay quite a bit right. I don't think we really saw anybody get left of 13, 14 at the arrows.
Well,
not many?
Not many. Okay, on the first day of qualifying, I think take a look at Mitch Beasley. He was in front of the ball return.
Yeah, that's Mitch, though. Yeah.
That was a whole different scenario. He's playing like 25-6.
He doesn't even wake up till he gets 20 left to the big dot and throws it over the middle of the lane.
Well, my only concern about the pattern and the guys with their practice, since it's an older surface and Justin says the heads are an issue here, if the guys, urethane we know is a very poor surface, and they put a lot of surface as far as 240, 360. Sullivan said he had 120 grit on one ball. If they burn up the front part of the lane too much, that's going to make that ball wiggle down lane. It's going to use up its energy. It's going to look like it's going to hit, but you could leave a lot of flat tens.
And that's when we see guys jumping into reactive, some weaker reactive, mid-range reactive, potentially later in these matches. Probably not until the end of the second match, maybe into the third match before we see some reactive would be my guess.
Well, the thing about this, if we see reactive, it all depends, and we know there's going to be a lot of urethane, so that's going to give us a little bit of push. But Knowlton, watching him, he switched to reactive in that match and moved left and went around it, and that could come into play by the time he gets to the show.
Yeah, I don't think any of the right-handers have a chance of throwing urethane in the championship match.
That is unusual for John Burkett because the high hard one, he can throw it straight.
Yeah, and we've seen that this afternoon cost some players some wins in match play is a single pin miss. It's just something this guy. I mean, John knows you can't do that. It's just you can't. It's like walking somebody with the bases loaded. That's unacceptable.
The ultimate no-no.
Right.
This pattern, I think, gets kind of funky to a certain extent because you want to move in, but then the ball doesn't read. But if you move right, it reads too much. And certain pairs in this place, I'm sure you guys talked about it through the week, but certain pairs in this place are extremely tricky, 7 and 8 being one of them. And some of the matches down there where guys were shooting 240s and 250s down here, they're going 180 and 170 on that pair. And the other trick pair, which I think they used it last year on the show, was 15 and 16. He says that's another trick pair.
Aaron shot for Burkett after missing that 10-pin. If there's a guy in this field you don't want to give an inch to, that's the guy right there in the green shirt.
John Janawicz is, I guess you could say, an accomplished spare shooter. He doesn't miss many spares, but he never gets really too much in trouble either.
Very long hesitation. And then step. And 10-pin goes late. Did you see anything different on that shot, Tom? That was a little different reaction down lane.
Well, I just think if he got it to the friction, but we talked about that if he's trying to slow it up, and he's got a lot of surface on the ball. It could stop up too soon and not finish. And this place is notorious on this pattern for a lot of 10 pins.
We saw a lot of those this week, and a lot of blower 7s for the right-handers too, right? When the 10 goes, all of a sudden the 7 is staring back at you.
Yeah. There was a lot of 7-10s, but it's funny how you hit the head pin, the 1-3 pocket. The head pin goes to the sidewall, and it takes out the 4 pin and doesn't take out the 7.
Doesn't seem fair.
Well, I thought it wasn't fair the whole week.
Well, you left 49 of them. So.
Thank you.
First time we've used this bat pattern, 37 feet, 25 mils, Brunswick control 2.0, the original control, not the absolute control. Symmetric pattern, 2.8, left and right. And I did have a nice conversation with our lineman Eric Pearson before this round here, and I think a lot of the bowlers, I think we here watching this, and I think Eric as well, was pretty happy with the way the pattern played for the first time we've used it. Unknown. You never really know what it's going to do until you see it in person. There's
been a lot of comments, I think, on Facebook about the pattern, and the guys thought it played fair. It's a different pattern. The shape of the ball was a little bit different. You had to create a little bit different angle. You had to do some tricks with your hand to get the ball to read the lane the right way, which is unique, which obviously it played to having a completely different field pretty much on the show. And I'm sure that down the road, hopefully, we see some more of these patterns. I don't know what they're going to call them, but Batman and Robin.
The cat pattern for Catwoman. That's better for John. But he's staying right of Janawicz, right? A little more direct. Janawicz is kind of going the old Dolly Parton 9 to 5 there. And Burkett's more up 5.
And he's throwing, to me, what a bigger, but he's throwing the U78. That ball's pretty strong. But he's throwing it much harder than Janawicz. Janawicz has got that little hesitation step where he's just kind of floating it a little bit. But he's a great player. Obviously, we've always said we'd like to be inside of that head, what he's thinking, all the notes that he takes. But there's a reason for what he does. His hesitation was a little faster on that shot.
Well, if I got inside John's head, I'd take some ibuprofen first because it'd give me a headache. There's a lot going on in there. Very analytical. Always thinking.
Hey, if you looked at his face right there, coming back, you don't know if he was happy about that shot, confused about that shot. It's just, he's fun to watch.
Yeah, you never know. We got our silent reporter down there, too. Mike Flanagan with some nuggets. What do you got, Mike?
Yeah, I'm actually right here with the bowlers, so I got to speak a little softly here. But I want to tell you guys something. I'm watching Janawicz on every shot and Burkett on every shot. The 10 pin, he crossed 11. He's crossing 11 on every shot. Janawicz is. It got out to about 7. He left a 10 pin. Every other one has been right on top of each other. It's getting out to about 9.
That one looked a little bit tighter.
Yeah. He's playing the lanes way tighter than what Burkett is. But, you watched a lot of guys on this show. They actually, or this week rather, they opened up the lane. They were throwing it towards the ditch to get it to bounce off of the ditch. See, there's no hesitation in JJ's shot when he throws a spare, picks up the ball and goes.
Yeah, we have not quite figured out how to read some of John's mannerisms. I mean, we've seen him a lot because he makes a lot of shows, but he's still kind of a newbie to us. And as you said, looks like he's not happy about any shot. But
I would love to have a camera on JJ's face coming back because there are so many expressions. Trying to read what he's thinking is impossible. See, there was a shot that Burkett got it out early. It looked like he got it out to like 2-3 down lane in the mid lane, and the ball just checked up and didn't finish. You can get the ball to slow down way early if you hit the friction too soon.
Yeah, Burkett's going to be down 22 through 5 frames if he makes this spare.
John was telling me, which I didn't know, for the bowlers out there listening, the BTM, if you ever go to the Nationals, John has a BTM, Bowling This Month title. He swept that thing. He's pretty proud of that one.
Oh, yeah, I remember that a couple years back, yeah.
if you've ever bowled the BTM, that to me that's just one step up above the Peterson. That term is hard.
We talked about it towards the end of the last round of matches. These stepladder matches are going to come into who carries better, who leaves the fewest amount of 10 pins, and of course who makes their spares.
This is where, and it's so touchy with the urethane. I mean, the ball looked good, but you could see it faced up and just didn't finish going through the pins. And we're on a short pattern. We're expected to use urethane on short patterns. Whoa.
Yeah.
I thought he just missed that to the right.
Never a doubt on that one. Well, maybe a little.
A little high on the outside.
So look at our Mountaineer trophy there, just to the left of John Burkett. Up close over shoulder look now at John Janawicz. You see really close where he's hitting at the arrows. Look like he's kind of getting more 9 at the arrows. Let's see. The last one hit kind of 10. That was 10, 11.
Yeah, that looked like 11 to 8 right there. You know, that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Watch this 10 pin get snapped out of there.
And there's two ways to look at this pattern. And guys this week that made that into the match play, they attacked it two different ways. You had that look that you just seen from John Janawicz. Then you had the look where guys were maybe a little bit farther left with their feet, but they're trying to get it literally to 1-2 down lane and watch the ball just ricochet off almost looked like it was on a springboard going back to the pins.
We've seen a lot of that from John Janawicz this week.
So Janawicz just strikes. Comes back, shakes his head like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Just threw a double.
John Burkett strikes out. He shoots 225. John Janawicz goes 9 miss. He shoots 225. So what that means is Burkett needs to strike out to force Janawicz to mark in the 10.
What you're saying is you don't think Janawicz is going to go 9 miss?
I don't think so, but Burkett's got to force him to get up and perform, right? That's his job right now.
And that's not going to happen.
No.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, when you look at the graph of the pattern, John is right on top of what I want to call the shim, the heaviest part of the oil, and he's playing it fairly tight compared to John Burkett being outside and looking for a little bit more friction.
You know, Burke is disappointed making his third show. Missing that single pin. I think that cost him the shot in the fourth frame, too. Still thinking about it. And then now he can't kick a 10 pin out.
Well, you know, Burkett's going to be on many, many more shows. He's a quality player. And he's fortunate enough he's got 2 lanes in his house. This doesn't like he doesn't practice a lot. But he's got a love for the game. He loves to win. You know he's going to be in another show. It's just a matter. And out here, it's all timing. If everything goes your way, it's a great day. But, you know, you can't make many mistakes once you get on the TV show. I mean,
yep.
that's a given. I mean, there has been guys win through mistakes, but still, for the most part, you get on the show, you better perform.
Well, let's be honest. A positive for John, right? After missing, you know, a good portion of the season with his wrist injury, he fought through for quite a while. He's back this year, healthy, making a show. All right, now in his mind, okay, I can do it. Right? I'm back again. I can still do it. So a confidence booster, if anything, even though he takes a loss here in the opening match.
Even anybody coming off an injury and being able to come back and, like you said, make a show, if that isn't confidence and the ability to, like, hey, I know I can do this. But John's an athlete. I mean, God, he's had to been injured in baseball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, those pitchers, you know, they don't like a little blister or a hangnail. You know, they can't take a good injury like a catcher, right?
It gets run over.
Yeah. Well, I remember we learned about John Burkett's athleticism. Remember a few years back we were playing golf in the Villages, and he comes up and we let him hit one off the tee with us, and it made a sound that ours didn't make, so we said, go away, John. Right?
We don't want to play with you.
No, not at all.
Mine sounds like a thud. Yours sounds like a gunshot.
Burkett 214. We'll take the loss.
Possible 237 from John Janawicz.
So quickly before he goes, there's a good chance he's going to throw a different ball. What's he looking for now in this other black hammer?
I would think he's looking for maybe a little more shape, because he's got to know that if you're playing right to the edge of the oil, you're taking some oil down lane. So you got to make sure that something's going to turn the corner on the back end.
Looks like he moved his feet way right, though, doesn't it?
I mean, he went like 8 to 5. The down lane, though, looked like he hit like 6.
Yeah, from this angle, it looks like just a subtle move, but of course the field ball strikes 98.7% of the time. We know that. So 237, John Janawicz will advance to take on our first timer here.
Mark Sullivan.
A former Dick Weber Sportsmanship Award winner here. Match 2 here in our Stepladder final. Mark, where'd you go?
He's not nervous. He left.
Where did he go? Oh, he had to go get his bag of goodies. His glasses. That's what he needs. I need my glasses. So 237, 214 winner game number 1. John Janawicz. Now it's Mark Sullivan.
Okay, I'm
It looked a little grabby to me.
Yeah, I'm confused because I think that was sanded ethos. I'm not sure how many times I've seen that ball go down the lane. The lights come on.
Now he's go get that black hammer for the spare ball. Bring that back, Jeff. I got to shoot my spare. All right.
Calm down, Mark, because he's acting a little bit nervous right now.
He definitely is. Yeah,
yeah,
you can see it on his face now.
Yeah. He's kind of walking everywhere going, yeah, I don't know. Come on, buddy. Janawicz still throwing 16-pound equipment.
Just going to say, won't let him throw 17.
So it looks like he moved right, and he's banking it off the dry more.
Mike Flanagan down on lane side. What do you got, Mike?
I had a chance to talk to John Burkett. He just thought he was a touch too firm. The juices were flowing a little bit. He felt like the last couple blocks when he bowled his best, he was keeping that ball speed a little bit lower. If he had to do it all over again, he would have been a little bit touch slower. Also, the left lane, you've seen a couple guys go high on the left lane. The front part of the lane is more depressed, and the bowling ball wants to check early. We may be able to see throughout tonight's broadcast where we may see some more shots. If they don't get through it good on the left lane, might go a little high.
Like we just saw from Mark Sullivan. Thanks, Mike. So JJ gets up and he doubles. He puts even more early pressure on Mark. All right. That'll help calm you a little bit. I always get a chuckle when I watch John go from a urethane ball to a urethane ball to shoot a spare. But that one's a little more oil soaked, a little more lane shine.
Yeah, it looks way shinier, and I don't know if he shined it or it's just lane shined. So it's kind of interesting. Janawicz throwing a 16-pound black hammer compared to a lot of the guys out here throw 15-pound. And obviously, it's the same ball. It's a black hammer, except for the differential of that ball, of a 16-pound ball, is 030, and a 15 is 015. So
what's that mean in English?
In English means there's going to be more shape on the back end on a 16-pound black hammer than a 15-pound black hammer.
Meaning he can be more aggressive maybe then, right? And speed won't be as sensitive.
Much of a factor, right.
Okay.
If you're somebody like you who wants to throw at 23 mile an hour.
All right, I'm ordering 16-pounders tomorrow.
And if I don't know how many people are going to run out and get a 16-pounder, my arm would fall off trying to throw a 16.
Well, you're up to 12 now? 12 and a half?
You know, we could turn off your mic anytime.
Nope, I got control of that. Not giving up this seat. Mark Sullivan back up now. Looking for his first strike here and his first time on the show.
Much better ball. He's crossing like 12 out to like 8. So
look at the follow through compared to his last shot over hill. There it is. Got through that one really nice.
That shaped up beautiful for him.
Hey guys, I watched Mark throw his shot on the right lane. I'm sitting right behind his pair, and he's basically right on top of where JJ is. You know, but he's not using a black hammer. He should have a little bit more bounce off the end of the pattern.
Yep.
But he's crossing right at 10. You know, getting it out to like 7. So those guys are right on top of each other on the right lane.
JJ strikes, goes up 1 pin after 3. And there it is.
So, based on the information we know, the winner is who can figure out lane 7?
Lane 13.
Or lane 13, rather. I said 7. Playing 7.
Well, we've had 2 of 3 strikes on the right lane, 1 of 3 strikes on the left lane. Mark Sullivan, the first strike over there. Janowicz left a 10-pin his last shot over here. Let's see what kind of adjustment he makes, if he can kick that corner out this time. Got around that one a little early. Ooh, high.
Wow.
Flush.
That was high. He was like 11 at the arrows there, but he was only like 9 down lane. So Janowicz does so many tricks. I don't know if that was a planned move or it just happened. But it looked like a firmer shot, kept the ball tighter.
Well, that's a shot that we've seen 9-pin all weekend long. You know, that's what that was. But for that shot, it didn't. It carried.
That ball was left of 10. That shot. That was like 12. Obviously, the big key of winning any match is like Captain Obvious. You got to be able to repeat. And when you miss your target in the front 15 feet of the lane by 2 to 3 boards, big difference. Then you're hoping the bowling gods are working with you.
All right, still fairly close early. Mark's making his spares.
That doesn't seem like that's going to work if you got your opponent throwing a lot of doubles.
No, not yet. I think it's big for Mark to get up here. Important to put a strike on the board just to let Janowicz know that he's still here. I mean, JJ, you know, if Mark doesn't strike here, JJ throws another double, he gets a little separation, and that does not keep that arm swing loose as Mark likes it. That one just was way left and kept going left, but it's a strike on the board.
No matter what happens here for Mark Sullivan, this is a huge learning experience. You know, if he wins, he learns something, but if he loses, he's going to learn something. That goes in the memory banks, and you learn off of everything you do out here. I think John thought that was going to strike a little. Kind of like confused about that one. He shook his head on it, came back. But maybe he knew. I guess, again, he's the hardest player.
He's a tough read.
To read.
But the right lane really has been smooth sailing for everybody. So I think he expected that to carry. He hasn't really had much stress on that lane in his last game and a half.
21.15 on his spare shot. That's your first shot.
Pretty close. Pretty close. We started this tournament a couple days ago with 94 players in the field, finished with 90, and we're down now to the final 4.
And John Janawicz, one of the 2 that shot 300 in this tournament. Walter Ray Williams being the other. That was high, and that's when the bowling gods are working with you there.
Well, Mark Sullivan, go Brooklyn. Yeah, hold my chamois.
I just said this earlier. You hit the head pin. The head pin goes to the side, takes out the 4 pin, and the 7 pin stays. I don't know how many times I've seen that happen this week.
Well, a double, and Mark ties it up.
That was pretty firm. 16.7. Don't get overamped.
What's he, 15 and a half, kind of his normal speed? Is that where Mark's normally at? 15 and a half to maybe 16?
Yeah.
So you're talking 3/4 a mile, at least maybe a full mile an hour faster than normal. And that's what we talked about, right? That's his miss. He gets fast. He gets quick.
He starts to get fast. There's so many blacks up there, those black hammers. I don't know if there's pin up, pin down. Is JJ using 2 different balls? They can't really tell.
Keeps fiddling with that thumb hole, though. That one's not feeling quite right.
That one's pin up. That one's like 2 inches up above the fingers. Looking at it from the angle I just seen him working on the ball.
Mark got through that one nice.
That was that great shot he made over there earlier when it went like 12-8. Just faced up beautiful.
Boy, we'd have a time match if that 10 pin would have carried on lane 14 his last shot.
Well, he's got 13 figured out, and we thought that was going to be the tough lane. It's not 7, it's 13. I watched him in that whole match on 7 and 8. I'm still stuck in that groove.
That was
a brutal match to watch.
That was.
John got that way the heck out there, down lane.
That's that 030 you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
It'll make that corner.
He's shaking his head like that wasn't what he wanted to do. Why don't you go out there and ask him? I'd really like to know.
I mean, he's a perfectionist, right?
The only thing I haven't seen him do what he normally does, take notes. So he's playing obviously two different lines if that was anticipated, because he's way left on lane 13 compared to what he's just done on lane 14.
Yeah, from here and his reaction and his follow-through, look, I think he'd like that shot.
But you don't know.
No, I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm about 91% sure. 100% sure he makes that spare, no problem. Mike down on lanes again. Mike, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I was talking to Jeff Johnson, tour rep here, and we were talking about the left lane, and we saw Mark Sullivan go Brooklyn and got a strike on the left lane. And it's because if you throw it into the lane, it just wants to hook instantly. So JJ is playing a zone left on that left lane just to get it going left to right so it doesn't check early on him, but sometimes it still wants to check anyway. And that's why we see him going a little high. He tripped that 4-4-7 out a little bit ago and left a 4-pin. I would expect a little bit more of a move for JJ on the left lane.
And that's the same thing that we heard from Dan Knowlton yesterday when he had all those big strings of strikes. A couple times he really got it in the lane early. It went high.
My goodness. That was right off his hand, left at the break point.
Yeah, before that shot, Sullivan actually had the lead by a pin. If you go max scores, 238 for Janawicz, 239 for Sullivan.
3-6-10. Not the easiest spare in the world when you need it.
Oh, he's hooking at it.
Oh, that's a little scary.
Yeah, I wasn't nervous. Tom, you were nervous.
I thought he missed it to the right, but he didn't. So that's good.
What's Mark's max score? 219. John Janawicz pacing 218.
Oh, that really checked up early.
I think he got that to the drives really quick, too.
Yeah, that he got it to the right a little bit too early.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah. Janawicz already had a 20-pin lead, and you didn't want to really give him any more.
Yeah, the crowd knows it, too. The whole demeanor of the crowd changed on that shot. They're like, oh,
Yep.
I thought we were going to see a really good battle here at the end. But John's still going to make a couple shots. 195 now the max for Mark. JJ just needs a mark in the 9th or 10th frame.
Really delayed on that hesitation. That went extremely high. Maybe that outside on the right lane is just getting a little burnt. I just wonder now, with Knowlton coming in, is he going to stand left and bank it off of what I see happening? He could go to actually a pearl ball and go around the pattern at this point.
Zero chance of Dan Knowlton throwing urethane this next match.
I wouldn't think he would, but
he threw urethane for half a game in qualifying. The first couple of days, brought it out here today a little bit in the matches, but had not been throwing a lot of it. I think the way the lanes are transitioning now, there's zero chance he throws it here tonight, but we're going to find out shortly because he's going to be bowling this next match against our reigning Rookie of the Year, leading player of the year, John Janawicz.
And we have a winner here with JJ. Just needed to actually just kind of show up, really. Knowlton against Bill Watson. He went to that pearl ball in that final game and started going around it, and that's what got him to this point here. And if he's been watching, which I'm assuming he has, he might just start left and get all over it because he has that ability.
JJ now going to grab a different ball. So I'm guessing he's going to take a little peek at getting away from urethane. Just one shot because he doesn't get any more practice, so he's going to take this fill ball. Is it time to try something, and that is...
What is that?
Well, it could be just about anything knowing JJ.
I walked by his vehicle yesterday. He had the trunk open. I go, have you checked the shocks on that thing lately? There had to be, I'm not joking, there had to be 70 bowling balls back there.
No clue what that is from that
I
shot.
have no clue, but that kind of looked like what he needed to do. Was that an ion that went down the... What is that thing?
I don't think it's that ion, Pro.
I think the outside on that right lane is burned up.
Yeah, they're changing. They're changing quick. Here we go. You're gonna like this answer. I think I know what he just said, Mike. What is that ball he's got over there?
He pulled out an old EPX epoxy bowling ball.
Of course
that's
he did.
quite old.
Of course he did.
He's got a little bit of everything out here.
What did I tell you? There were 70 bowling balls.
Yeah, Bill O'Neill and Tommy Jones used to do that before the urethane era came back out again, and they remember using those balls at the World Series bowling on short patterns, and JJ's got one. That's what he went to, an old EPX.
No guarantee he's going to keep throwing it, but he did have to get it out there just to perk us up. We've seen some old gems come out this week.
Like everybody and their brothers got one of those balls for crying out loud.
Oh, Barnes threw a flux a little bit this week. We had the old teal honey badger that Jack Jurek threw. Right, there were some old balls that made it out on the rack, but nothing maybe quite as old as an EPX that made it in play here this week.
Only JJ would be carrying around.
Probably not.
Don't think so.
Okay.
He trusts the must, and he likes the left lane. If he needs to go up in the 10th frame and throw 3, he'd rather do it on the lane. It's better for him.
Well, you were watching the whole time in practice, but it looked like Dan's ball on the right lane comes off the spot pretty hard. I think that's something he's going to have to contend with on the right lane.
All right, here we go. I need to get a fresh rack up there in lane 14. JJ, is he going to stick with that EPX now? Oh, yeah. Yes, he is.
I thought those balls crumbled.
I think everybody wants to get a quick picture of that.
Yeah, you better take a picture of that. Some people have probably never ever seen that ball.
Well, it's the only thing in the building not older than you here, Tom.
Wow. That was cold. Thank you.
Welcome back. We missed you.
Yeah.
I did, for sure.
Yeah. Problem is, I got as many broken parts as my motorhome, so I don't know which is going to break down first, me or the motorhome.
I'm not going to answer that question.
That ball looked pretty sweet over there. He's putting the black hammer away.
They gone. Both of them.
Both of them. So he threw that ball one shot last game in a fill on the left lane. He has no idea what that ball's going to do on the right lane.
No.
He curved the whole lane on that thing.
Look, if you're into 10 back, crushing the rack, hooking half the lane, I mean, I guess that was okay then, if that's what you like. If you're into that.
Yeah, I think
was
he was
pretty
definitely into that. I can't see. It was like 14 of the arrows. I never seen what the break point was. He's in the way, but whatever it is, it was flush.
That was farther left.
He's using the hammer effect, I believe, on both lanes. Well, this is the first shot of that EPX on this lane, so we get to see what it does.
I'm going with
It's going to do that.
That's
what it's going to do.
Okay.
It's going to strike.
It'll be okay, yeah.
He's moved in also. He's just keeping it nice and tight now. That was like 14, 13, out to 7, 8, something like that. Guy's got to quit standing up at the at the break point so I can see what's going on. We need to put Brian Kane down there with a camera at the break point.
Let's hang it from the ceiling.
Yeah, we can do that.
Overhead.
That was a repeat. Just hit the button.
But
Do it again.
could you hear that, though? Was that hitting a finger hole or thumb hole?
It's a plug ball. And we're allowed to use plug balls on
All
the
right.
PBA50
Maybe
tour.
that's what it's hitting then, because it was definitely it was thumping a little bit.
That is the automatic traction control.
I think did that go to your motorhome too?
Yeah.
Oh, Danny Knowlton now.
Wow.
He gave
He
that one
is
some
firing
room.
that thing right
Yeah.
off his hand.
Do you think this is like 1984 at 3 a.m. bowling for breakfast?
That-
just hooking the whole lane there?
Yeah, that ball went zing that way quickly. And you watch Dan in a multitude of tournaments. He's always pretty much straight, and he's always using urethane for the most part because he throws it very well. And to watch him move in and curve it is a whole different feature you see out of Dan Knowlton.
Well, 3 strikes apiece for both players. And I'll tell you what, I'd be shocked if Dan really meant to do what he just did there. He might have found something he didn't know was there.
Oh, is that in? That was like set. He found some hole there somehow. 17, 18. But that just goes to show the versatility of these players. 1 minute they're playing up the outside of the lane, and in the next game and a half, there are 15 boards left of that.
Oh, he's ripping the cover off that ball too.
And for people that practice at home, and this is a good thing, learn to play the whole lane. You know, don't get just comfortable staying in one spot just because you can strike there all the time. Ooh, that just didn't quite turn the corner, and I heard that thumping that you heard. Dan Knowlton, meaning business, starting out with the front 4.
Well, you know, he's got confidence. He's already beat JJ today, right? He's the one that knocked JJ into the 5 seed. He beat him kind of with ease earlier, which is something we thought couldn't be done. JJ just got done shooting 278, 279 against Chris Barnes.
Right.
And what, he's 202 teens
Right.
against Dan? Just showed that he's human.
Oh, a messenger and a half. And
6 pin touched it.
Yeah.
Messenger came across, didn't touch it.
I'm just amazed by JJ's trigger step, timing step, hesitation step. I don't care what you call it. It's so different all the time. It's just,
There was non-existent there. And 4 for 4 so far.
how about 5 for 5? And Dan just flew in, I think, this week. He was on vacation. He hadn't even practiced.
Just an Alaskan cruise. He just flew halfway around the world to get here.
Guys, on this left lane here, this is a huge shot for Dan. He's going to finish on this lane, okay? And here's the thing that I've noticed. As he moves further deeper on the lane, because this pattern only oiled 20 feet and buffed to 37, there's still insta-hook in the middle of the lane. He's got to get his eyes further right to get that ball further to the right. Otherwise, he's going to be tripping 4 pins.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that last shot as far in as it was. I don't think that's going to happen.
You got that right a lot quicker. Got that right a lot quicker.
And that came a lot harder on
Yeah.
the back end, too.
And there's that 4 pin.
And I was hoping we were going to see a 300. Now it's only going to be 279.
Looks like Dan going to plastic to shoot this 4-pin. Going to go straight at it.
I think he's throwing a blue dot. Yep. Straighter's greater.
Well, and we've seen a lot of players hooking at those left side spares on this short pattern this week, and every once in a while somebody hooks in front of it. So.
Oh yeah, that could be dangerous.
Yeah, I like going straight at him on this one.
I mean, there's a lot of the patterns you can hook at the left side spares because the amount of oil we have, but I don't think this is one of them.
11-pin advantage right now for Knowlton.
Whoa, that thing just kind of laid off.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about this EPX ball, but I don't want to saw it go down lane the first time. My concern was that right there. Is it too weak?
It came out in 2005. It's 20 years old almost.
Well, we know the urethane will pick up, and that one never did anything.
I always worry about a ball thumping. If it's thumping, to me, it's leaving the lane surface, and
right,
we're losing traction. And when you hear a ball really rattling going down the lane, granted they can strike, but for the most part, when a ball's leaving the lane surface, it's not good.
Well, what do you say? The ball can't hook in the air. Right?
That's true.
Yep, that ball's gone. It's one of the physics.
Has a proton physics?
It's an infinite physics.
Infinite
guys.
physics?
Infinite physics.
How many balls are on the market? A lot.
Well, they're all on the back of JJ's car.
Well, there's a gutsy move. We're just going to pick up a different ball and fire it. How's that?
Well, but remember he proved us last year at the Masters when he won his first event that he doesn't need to throw a ball in practice. See what he's going to do. He's a numbers guy, right? Like Barnes. Okay, I'm going to go from this ball to this ball. I'll make this move, and I know what it's going to do.
Yeah, he's all about RG's diffs and spin times and everything else. And we watched that. It struck forever in practice. Tournament starts. I think I'll throw a different ball and show and win.
That puts JJ's max at 256. That 10-pin going late was huge for Knowlton.
He got a break on that because that could have been a huge split.
And that was a shot, right? I think he got it in the lane too early. It just kind of, I don't know. Not a good shot.
Now JJ's taking notes. Oh, no. That looked like that was left off of his hand from my angle.
Guarantee he thought he missed it the way he turned around.
Yeah, he turned around. I thought he just chopped that.
You know what JJ's writing down, that's the thing. He's going to get one of those memories in a couple years. He's writing down, I went from Black Hammer to EPX to infinite physics. And he's going to read that in 10 years saying, you did what?
At a moment's notice. That's the thing about great players. They make changes. They make big jumps on the lane. They do things that most players, I'll give it another frame. I'll give it this. And maybe it was just me, and that was a solid 8-pin. Holy crap.
I felt that.
Did you feel that?
I felt that. That puts Dan's max at, what's that, 256 to 256. Potential.
We have the possibility of a tie. I didn't want to say that too early. You get mad at me.
Nah. We got all the time in the world. There is no concept of time on Urethania.
I asked him how far Urethania is from here. I never got an answer.
Farther than Alaska. So a long ways.
I've never asked JJ. I ask him a lot of questions, but I've never asked him why he starts with the ball hanging down, then picks it up. That's going to be. Oh, was that the 4 that pushed out the 7?
I'm not sure what it was.
Or was that the 5 that pushed out the? What was
Let's take
that?
another look here. See if we can figure this one out. That was not the 4.
No, it almost looked like the 8 pin went straight across.
The 8 hit it in the back, or the 5. Maybe the 8 hit in the back.
This is a change of events here now.
Well, a strike here means John cannot be shut out.
Maybe it was from my angle. He struck, but that didn't look like that was going to strike. That looked like that was in, just like it looked like it was going to go high, but it just sat there.
Yeah, he had a nice reaction. No, that's some of the most emotion we'll see out of John. He really kind of walked that one out just a touch. Knows he's in the match now. No matter what Dan does, John will have a chance to, at worst, tie him with 256.
That was in and left. That was left off his hand. And that's what he talked about. If he tries to get around it, as his words, if I screw it in the lane too quick, it goes left off my hand. And I think that's what happened to him.
Looked like he might have got a little quick with the feet, kind of ran up, and then had to play catch up as well. And you know what happens then? He just missed left. Got to settle and make this spare. Couple suspect shots his last few on this right lane, right? That spare that we thought he missed.
Right.
He thought he missed.
I thought he missed.
That shot there. That 8 pin was really good on 13, but the 2 shots on the right lane were, a little suspect.
Well, he definitely needs to strike out here. Just hope for a little help. JJ is fiddling with tape and feel more than I've ever seen him fiddle with a bowling ball. Better shot. That was, if there's such a thing as dead flush, that's what that was.
Well, Knowlton can strike out.
245.
Still force Janawicz to go strike 9 spare to tie. Can force JJ to double to get the win.
This shot is huge.
Yeah, this one pretty much forces the double.
He throws as pure as the last one. Oh! That was 10 back. Dan's like, I'm not out of this game yet.
Now look at that shot. Watch the pin action. Bang.
I mean, they just kind of went gone.
All right, strike here is 245. That would force Janawicz to go strike 9 spare just to tie. So a strike is big. Forces a double for the win out of JJ.
Oh. Runaway Brooklyn for the strike.
Well, he finished on his good lane, right?
Well,
oh, boy.
Didn't see that one coming. That was 20 at the arrows and just was going the other way. It was headed to lane 12.
All right. Got to have it. That's all there is to it. Winner of this match gets Jason Couch, the Hall of Famer, for the Morgantown Classic title.
He likes it. Solid 9. Holy cow.
Dan Knowlton's bowling for a second title.
Dan Moulton is moving on to face Jason Couch.
The only guy to beat John Janawicz today, and Knowlton just did it twice.
Wow.
That was filthy. Absolutely filthy.
Is Dan got kryptonite in him? Because that's Urethanians with kryptonite. He just took down JJ twice, like you said, twice in one day. That's unheard of.
Look, I think all of us in the building really felt this was JJ's turn to lose, and that 9-pin is what stopped that from potentially happening.
What a great game.
Yeah, impressive match. 3 ball changes, 3 different balls for JJ in the last, 11 frames. 235, nothing to be too sad about, but 245 the winning score for Dan Knowlton. And next up, Jason Couch for this title.
Jason Couch. And in his favorite bowling center. There we go.
Oh, there's a plug right there.
I really do. Anyway, I guess Jason's going to start. Yes, sir, I am starting. All right, gentlemen.
Oh, Jason is going to start.
He buttering up the crowd and the proprietors with that favorite bowling center.
I think he is crowd favorite. I'm just saying.
Well, he's a politician. All these events, right? He spends time with the fans everywhere I go. He enjoys it. The fans enjoy it. People know Jason. He's been at this for a long, long time.
Pretty much his entire life.
Did he start when he's like 18? Did he join that young?
I think so. Probably not the way he wanted to start.
And another guy who battled a few injuries early on in his 50 career, right?
Yeah, and he's got a knee replacement too. I know all about that stuff, but he's got a knee replacement, and which obviously it turned out very successful. He's not having any issues with it. There's a lot of extra parts out here on the PBA50 tour.
Is that what's in that trailer behind your motorhome? Extra knees, shoulders.
I just carry them in case the guys need them.
You can melt down Janowicz's EPX and make some new joints as well. Got to watch that pin in the back. Okay.
That is one scary spare. Especially on this pattern, throwing urethane. Dan Knowlton still going across town with that ball.
The shot on the left lane is the one that's going to interest me, though.
The one that went Brooklyn?
Yeah.
He just threw that on the mic. Whoa. I wasn't so sure about that one. It kind of looked like it was off of his hand a little quick, but obviously the results were good. He got that out to like 4-5. Dan's still using that hammer effect. 7 pin. So you brought it up. Do you think maybe not enough practice shots?
I do. You know, we watched him throw his couple shots before the semifinal match. You know, and Mike said, and you knew his game plan was going to be stay right of it. I watched him throw a shot on lane 13 there's no chance it was Ruddy was going to play. So maybe kind of off his game plan there. Comes in and only throws a couple practice shots. Look, there's been no play over there. He knows the lanes. He knows what's out there. But still, there's some subtleties you want to watch out for. And these lanes were oiled a while ago, and they've sat for quite a while. So it means they flatten out even more.
Exactly. And you know, on Dan's side, with all the urethane going down, it's created a little bit of hole for him. It's easier to get
no
the ball.
doubt. Yeah.
And so they've kind of set him up for him.
Yeah, you got to believe a slight advantage here to Knowlton. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at score. He starts out with a double, but just, you know.
Man, you can hear a pin drop in this place. Except for that pin didn't drop. The 7 pin. And Jason is in that match against Mike Harder.
Yep.
He needed that strike in the 10th, and everybody was laughing and clapping for Dan Knowlton down there, and Jason backed off the approach because they could hear that, and he needed that first strike in the 10th, and he got it. I think Jason needs to change balls and get out of one of those black hammers into a different one. I just think he should have taken more practice shots in the beginning. But you know, time will tell. Unless urethane isn't the right thing at all.
Well, if urethane's not in play, then he's in trouble because that's all he's been throwing all week long. He's got no context on what reactive does, right? And he's thrown a ton of urethane all season long. Again, not that he's, you know, foreign to throwing urethane, or reactive, but he hasn't thrown it all week.
That's pretty tough when you got a guy right now feeling very comfortable with what he's doing. You know, just pretty much thinking, all I got to do is make sure I get it off my hand and throw it to the right and get it out to 3. Wow, and he didn't get that ball out as far, and it held. That's where I think the urethane came into play right there, created some hold for him.
100%. 100%. Dan looking for his second title?
Yeah.
Back-to-back years?
I mean, how loose can his swing be right now? Because I don't think he can feel any pressure.
Yeah, Couch needs to show him that, you know, he can strike before Dan really needs to get worried about anything right now.
Yeah, Jason needs to come to the dance.
You also see one of the great sponsors that helped this event happen, Pleasant Day Child Care and Education. Not just a daycare, we're a family. Thank you to them for their support.
First one. There we go.
You saw that at 40 feet.
Yeah, right? He knew that was good. Jason take one of the 2 re-racks that he is allowed in this tournament. You only get a 3rd one on a special occasion.
And that was yesterday, the Bowling Holiday 7-10 day. You'll get him today.
That's it.
It's like that sign, free beer tomorrow or free beer yesterday, right? Same with the re-racks. Free re-racks yesterday. And I took a peek. That was just to slow things down. That's to let Dan sit a little bit longer. Let Jason collect himself. The rack, I think, looked okay from where I'm sitting. But that was just to control that pace of play, which Jason was doing against Mike Harder also.
No good. He's looking up to see how fast he threw that. 16.55.
Yeah, he's been looking at that a lot this week. We caught it in his other matches, too. Several times he's peaking at that speed. Maybe something he's battling a little bit. All right, the knee's feeling good. He's got his legs under him. A little more ball speed.
Well, I think the key to the bat pattern, guys, was ball speed all week. I mean, you talked about John Burkett, who lost in the first match. He said the reason he lost the match is because he was throwing it too hard.
Right.
So I think everybody's success out on the lanes has been determined based off of how their speed control is, and it's got to be a little bit softer than they normally do out here on tour.
Yeah, great point.
And Jason's not known for actually throwing it slow.
Oh, he's always firm, right? Firm.
Right. Unless Dan has a hiccup here, Jason really needs to put the last 6 under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, the scoreboard tells you the mess right now. Front 4 for Knowlton, 1 strike out of 5 frames for John. Where did that come from? Jason Couch.
Kind of same place where lane 7 came from. That looked like it was going to be high, but that just set flush. He's got to know that, I've got, 5 boards at my break point right now.
It must be that gravitational force coming in from urethania that just keeping things on line, just holding the pocket. Because, that at that point, that looked like that's going to go right through the face, and it's dead flush.
This dance is just about over. Dan Knowlton is taking no prisoners.
Well, I mean, you got to chuckle, right? This is what we've seen that happens to Couch over the last several years. He gets in a chance to get the W, and his opponent just is going to fire off front 6. He's probably had more 270 games shot at in match play than anybody I can imagine in recent history. Guys get up to bowl Jason. They know it's going to be a match, and at some point it's got to start wearing on you.
Yeah, I think that was the telltale sign right there. Jason knows that unfortunately this is probably over. Wow. Not much you can say, but it's just not Jason's day.
No, that's man.
Where did Knowlton win his first title at?
World Series of Bowling. Last year and last year. I believe on the ballard pattern.
That's a short pattern.
He was throwing urethane that day.
Yeah, that was high flush.
237 the max score.
Right now, that doesn't beat a possible 300 right now.
No, I mean, you throw a couple spares in there, and then Dan's still kind of in the 250s, you know. So it's just got to keep filling frames, throw some more strikes. And again, Jason's got to come and get him. He's at the point now where he didn't, you know, he didn't have to go out and win it. He's just got to, you know, Jason's got to catch him. He's going to have to give him an opportunity.
And Dan is not giving him an opportunity to catch him.
You know, every time we get together, Tom, we talk about the players. They need room somewhere in the lane. Well, Dan's got room at the arrows. He's got room down lane. He's got a little miss with speed. I mean, you know, look, he's got him.
The urethane.
He's got him where he likes him.
Definitely helped out this pattern. He looks like Secretariat at the 3/4 pole. He's so far ahead right now. It's just kind of a moot point.
Yeah, we thought that that John Janawicz had a good chance to run a ladder. He was going to set himself up nice. Unknowingly, he's got Dan set up pretty darn nice.
No question about that. Uh-oh. That has happened twice now.
When it's your day, it's your day, right? Yeah. I mean,
if you look at his hand release, he was clear around that ball. And, I said it earlier, and he said it to me. If I get around it too much, it's going dead left. So what does he get for shooting 300 besides 300?
That's a great question. Yeah. I think I read in the rules it's a hug from Tom Carter.
No. I know he does. He gets $100. Of course, now they want to start falling.
I didn't hear what was that. Did he say something to Dan? Or?
He said, "I'm out here splitting boards," and this guy doesn't have to. And then a roll of the eye.
Well, you can't argue with that.
I just got some information that 300 in this Stepladder is a $1,000 bonus.
Whoa. That would definitely be more gooder. Oh, now Jason's making it look easy. But I think Jason just threw that 15.8 instead of 16.7. Big difference. Ball shape.
Jason just said to Jeff Johnson, "That's the furthest my feet have been left all tournament."
Okay, we got the front nine. We got a possibility now of 300. But maybe those extra practice shots Jason should have taken. This is probably, even though he's won this is probably the toughest shot he's got to make, because he got a chance to shoot 300 on the show for the title.
Not going to hold? Going to carry?
Oh.
Doing both.
Making it look easy. The Uruthanians came to play. I think we've been invaded.
I gave him a hard time yesterday. I said, Dan, you realize you're not allowed to be on Team USA. You're not from Earth.
Yeah, he made Senior Team USA. Congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
And there's a good reason why he's on Senior Team USA. For number 11.
Got to get there. Got to get there.
Oh, he tomahawked that 7-pin. There should be no pressure on this shot. He's done the hard part.
It would be interesting to see a chart map of his 12 shots this game. He's created some room and he's taking advantage of it.
He's
Not enough that I'm getting beat by 70. Take your time.
Jason Couch kind of lightening the mood, which maybe that's going to help.
That's
help
what I was
out
thinking.
Dan.
Yeah, I think that's good. Dan got a nice smile. Took a re-rack. Wants to compose himself. Make a good shot here. $1,000 bonus.
One time. Come on. One time. Brooklyn. Oh.
Yeah, he was hoping that one would go Brooklyn too. He was hoping.
Oh. What a great show. $299. Couch complaining. You've already got me beat by 70.
And he doesn't get $999 for that, unfortunately. But you know what he does get? He gets that trophy right there, that Mountaineer trophy, and his second title here on this PBA50 Tour, back-to-back years.
You're going to take a re-rack? Jason says I need a re-rack for my final 10th frame.
You know what? That's why Jason's a crowd favorite right there. He keeps the mood light. Oh, how about that? $299 in our championship
Keep it on the
match.
lane. Now look at this. Look, but see, Jason Couch is striking. He's throwing it a mile an hour slower.
Yeah.
The guy can afford internet now. Not for him.
Wow, what a great show! What? The Uruthanian came to play.
Yeah. So, this means a lot for him, right? Yeah, second win, validation, but now we can take that moniker off him, right? He didn't throw your thing. He won with reactive.
Right.
So.
That hammer effect came a long ways.
Yeah. Thanks for nothing, Jeff. I was going to
Jason Couch giving his ball rep grief for not getting him to the title.
Oh, that's tough.
Hey, Jeff, check your numbers now. Jason still with a respectable 234, but unfortunately just not enough.
Well, there's the scores. 234, 299. I guess, and consolation for Couch is it was over early. It didn't really matter what he did after those first couple of shots.
No.
Dan Knowlton was here to play.